While Trump smashed Syria, look what he quietly did in North Korea. On Thursday, the eyes of the world were again on Syria. Earlier in the week, strongman Bashar Assad incensed decent human beings everywhere when he apparently used nerve gas on his own citizens. The New York Times reported that attack killed at least 86 people in the rebel-held province of Idlib. Unlike a previous attack in 2013, when Assad crossed the red line of chemical weapons usage and President Barack Obama did nothing, U.S. reaction this time was swift. On Thursday, a U.S. missile strike almost totally destroyed the Shayrat air base in Syria, where the nerve gas attack was launched, according to Fox News. It is in this vital national security interest of the U.S. to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons, Trump said in a speech after the strike. There can be no dispute that Syria used banned chemical weapons, violated its obligations under the Chemical Weapons Convention and ignored the urging of the UN Security Council. The strike was launched at Syria, but the real message may have been directed at North Korea. Much like Syria, North Korea is plenty used to crossing red lines and getting away with it. During the Obama administration, missile test after missile test, nuclear test after nuclear test, the North Koreans would flout basic rules of international law and get away with it every time. The administration has changed, however, and so has the message toward North Korea. The Trump administration has said that a military option is on the table when it comes to Kim Jong-un's regime. We are working diplomatically, including with those that we might be able to enlist in this effort to get North Korea under control. But right now it appears to be going in a very reckless manner, Secretary of Defense James Mattis said on a visit to the United Kingdom in March, according to Newsmax. That's got to be stopped. After Pyongyang's most recent missile test, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson issued a terse statement that showed the Trump administration meant business. North Korea launched yet another intermediate-range ballistic missile, the statement read, according to CNN. The United States has spoken enough about North Korea. We have no further comment. However, what happened in Syria Thursday could definitely be considered further comment. When Syria and North Korea crossed red lines under Barack Obama, they received nothing but a strong warning from the administration. While the administration said that Thursday's attack was a one-off, it crippled one of Assad's largest air bases. It shows that there would be very real consequences for flouting international law. And perhaps most importantly, it shows that the Trump administration was willing to stand up to those that would shelter Syria, namely, Vladimir Putin's Russia. In North Korea's case, China has been the one often urging moderation on the North Korea issue. China's President, Xi Jinping, is currently meeting with Trump down at the Mar-a-Lago resort down in Florida. Before the meeting, Trump told interviewers that if China is not going to solve North Korea, we will. Now, Kim Jong-un knows that isn't an idle threat. Xi Jinping knows it, too. Please like and share on Facebook and Twitter with your thoughts on this story. What do you think about the message Trump just sent? Scroll down to comment below. Syrian girl just delivered shocking message to Trump after people see what's in her video. After hiding from a gas attack that the president of her home country dropped on his people, a little 7-year-old Syrian girl dropped a bomb of her own in a message to America's leader. Having spent most of her short life suffering under Bashar al-Assad's regime and Russia's involvement there, Bana al-Abed had something to say after everyone saw what was in her video. Al-Abed first became known to the Western world when she made a desperate plea for help on social media, with her mother's assistance. She detailed the horrors of her daily life in East Halo in a video her mom filmed of her and shared on Twitter, where it went viral. She made occasional updates on the terrifying situation in subsequent weeks, but went strangely silent in December, Fox News reported. People who had been following her feared she had been killed. Now, she's emerged for the first time, in a long time, with news for President Trump who just dropped 59 missiles on Syria. The controversy continues over Trump's assertive move to prove that America is back in power and human atrocities committed by Assad will no longer be tolerated. While it's easy to be an armchair critic over foreign policy when you're not the one living every second of your life in fear it will be your last, little Alibet has an opinion on the matter that really means something. After the 7-year-old and her mother were evacuated from Syria and sent to Turkey and Assad had used chemical weapons on his own people, she pleaded with anyone who would listen, "This is my message to the leaders of the world, it's never too late. Save the people of Syria now." Nobody had done a thing up until this point that allowed Syria to become what it is today. Now, a new leader is in charge who heard her and responded with force that many Americans disagree with, but Alibet appreciated. The little girl sent shockwaves on Twitter yesterday when she released another tweet thanking Trump for what he did. "I am a Syrian child who suffered under Bashar al-Assad and Putin. I welcome Donald Trump action against the killers of my people," she said in the now viral video. While the world watches and Americans fight over the counterattack being right or wrong, this little victim who has suffered far more than any American could fathom has a valid opinion on the matter. She has waited all of her life for someone to step in and stop the atrocities so she could live a life free from fear. Trump was the leader to do it and makes no apologies for putting his foot down, especially after a big thank you like this from a little girl who can rest a little easier now. It's a miracle. Right after bombing Syria, Trump got the best news ever. Last night Trump stood up for the good of mankind when he bombed the hell out of an airbase in Syria that Assad used to launch a chemical attack on his own people, killing dozens. Trump launched 59 Tomahawk missiles at the airbase, leaving it in total ruin. After it was all over, Trump got the best gift he could have ever hoped for from the most unlikeliest of people, Syrian refugees. Now that Trump has made Syria safer for Syrians, they can actually stay there instead of coming here. It's a win for everyone. In fact, the people of Syria were so grateful to President Trump, many are going to name their child Donald. I sure as hell don't see any Syrians naming their kids Barack. The outpouring of support didn't stop there, however. Twitter was full of Syrians, many of them refugees, thanking President Trump for coming to their rescue. Julian Assange, Obama is trying to delegitimize Trump. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange claims in an interview airing Tuesday that the Obama White House is trying to delegitimize Donald Trump's administration by claiming that the Russian government hacked Democrats' emails during the election. Assange, who was interviewed at the Ecuadorian embassy in London by Fox News' Sean Hannity, also reiterated his claim that the Kremlin was not the source of hacked emails published by WikiLeaks. During the months leading up to the election, WikiLeaks published emails stolen from the Democratic National Committee and from Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. The Obama administration has insisted that it has strong enough evidence to conclude that Russian intelligence services orchestrated the cyber attacks, which began in late 2015. But Assange told Hannity with 1,000% confidence that the Russian government was not WikiLeaks' source for the emails. We have said, repeatedly that over the last 2 months that our source is not the Russian government and it is not a state party, Assange told Hannity, who traveled to London to interview the exiled Australian national in person. A transcript of the interview provided by Fox News does not show whether Hannity asked Assange additional questions about the original hackers, such as whether he believes that WikiLeaks' source is also the hacker or whether they were working as a middleman for another entity. Assange usually refuses to discuss sources of his group's material, but he has said he has made an exception in the case of the DNC and Podesta emails because of the vigorousness of the debate over the identity of the hackers. Why has the Obama administration responded so strongly to the hacks? Hannity asked Assange. Our publications had wide uptake by the American people, they're all true, Assange said. But that's not the allegation that's being presented by the Obama White House. So, why such a dramatic response? Well, the reason is obvious. They're trying to delegitimize the Trump administration as it goes into the White House. They are trying to say that President-elect Trump is not a legitimate president. Hannity also asked Assange whether WikiLeaks' publication of emails changed the outcome of the election. Who knows, it's impossible to tell, Assange replied. But if it did, The accusation is that the true statements of Hillary Clinton and her campaign manager, John Podesta, and the DNC head W. Wasserman Schultz, their true statements is what changed the election. Trump snuck hidden message into his Syrian strike announcement last night. Here's what it means. Earlier this week, the world watched in horror as Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad launched a chemical attack against his own people. This attack claimed the lives of innocent men, women, and children who died an agonizing death. Of course, we all wanted to see justice for these people, and President Trump delivered just that last night. In an amazing show of military might, Trump deployed 59 Tomahawk missiles to the Syrian base that launched the attack. The message was clear to Assad that Trump was not someone